Hello and welcome to Franchise Vibes. And I mean, dare I say Happy New Year? I think that's the last time I'm going to say Happy New Year. We're late into January, guys, but it is still January, and this will be our first show for the year. And the vibes we're on today is, well, for the new year, fresh start vibes, choosing the right franchise in 2026. And I'm happy that we are in for a treat. I met Josh a couple of years ago at a great conference for franchising, S&B conference, and he was a great speaker. And I like that he's definitely going to have a lot to say on this topic because he'll be able to give the insight from both sides. And I can't wait to go ahead and dig in. So, Josh, please tell us a little bit about yourself, and let's get into it.
Yes, thank you very much, Tamika. And I appreciate you having me on the show. Yeah, look, Josh York, I'm the founder and CEO of GYMGUYZ. We are in-home and on-site personal training company. We bring the workout to you in-home, on-site, anywhere, home office, pool, park, place of worship, hospital, senior homes, assisted living facilities, daycares, you name it. We come in our fully loaded van, enough equipment to provide you a fantastic workout 365 days a year, backed by our three C's, convenient, customized, and creative workouts. And we service, we're in 7 countries. 3,000 cities we serve, over 30 states, and continuing to rapidly grow and expand. And, it's all about making a difference and changing lives. And, as Tamika just said, look, we're in a new year, right? New year, new you, right? And I'm not a big person and a big fan of New Year's resolutions because you should be having goals weekly, monthly, quarterly, and just executing, crushing them, and moving on. But look, the time is always now. And sometimes a New Year's resolution can be a good thing just because it gives you a starting point and a date. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say your starting point is today. Today, it's January 27th. I don't know when it's going to be aired, this show, but today's January 27th when we're filming, and maybe February 1st is the date. Okay, you know what? You don't wait for that date. You start now, and that's what it's all about. So that's why we're here right now to kind of talk this through, and I'm looking really forward to it.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? The funny thing is that it's a total coincidence that I'm speaking with a gym franchise because when you talk about resolution, isn't that one of the first things people thinking about workout and healthy and things of that nature? And that's what they think about for the new year. And then, the gyms and everything is crowded and packed, and then it fizzles out, right? So total coincidence. But again, I definitely want to get into the topic and then dive more into to your business. So I wrote a book called Your Franchise Roadmap, and I do talk a lot about the process in trying to find that right fit. I talk about the discovery phase and just some of the things that you will go through that I don't think is spoken about enough. I think understanding yourself and finding that right fit is important, but I also try to tell people how fit goes both ways. And I know that you're definitely going to have something to say about that because I don't think enough is spoken about when it comes to that. I don't think people realize that you're being evaluated just as much as you're evaluating the opportunity to own this business, right? So I guess let's start first with what should people be discovering about themselves before they even start looking at franchise businesses.
Great question. And real quick, just to chime in, the good thing is we talked about a gym. We're not a gym. We're a fitness company, and we're the rebellion against gyms, right? Gyms don't work. 90% of people that have a gym membership don't go. Treadmills become the most amazing clothing racks. Apps don't work. That's why we're continuing to crush it and continuing to win. But great question. Look, here's the thing. If you want to go into business, you need to understand a couple things. Number one, you need to be smart, but not book smart. You need to be smart. You need to follow the system, right? Working smarter, not harder. If you do not follow the system and you're not prepared to follow the system, do not go into franchising. That's number one. Number two is if you do not have the drive, if you do not have the intention, the intensity, the passion, and the will to understand that it takes a lot to win and you're going to lose too, because your losses are your lessons, then do
Mhm.
not go into franchising. If you think you're going to make $1 million without putting any effort or work into it, do not go into franchising, let alone anything I just said right now. Don't even go into business. Look, this applies to every single business. If you do not like people, if you do not like problems, if you do not like pressure, if you do not like headaches, if you do not like being uncomfortable, and if you do not like working hard, business is not for you. If you want to have things people don't have, you must be willing to do things people won't do. That's it. Hard now, easy later. Easy
Mhm.
now, hard later. That's it. The easy way will never pay well. And you need to understand that. And the problem is when people decide to go into business, most of the people have this just this just a high amount of level of fear, and the
Yes.
fear holds them back. And look, what's going to happen? Like, what's going to happen? That's the question you need to ask yourself, because, you know, let me tell you something. The pain of regret is much more powerful. You sitting around having that regret of not doing something than actually you saying, you know what, I'm going to make it work and I'm going to happen and it's going to happen. But the thing is also, when that fear comes in, people come into, business with a backup plan. Backup plans do not work. Plan A is the only plan. And you got to come into somebody saying, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to make it work no matter what. And yes, you're going to have hard times and you're going to have good times and you're going to have hard times and you're going to have good times. That's business. But you know what? You gotta understand that coming into it, and you have to train this. If you do not have a good mindset, you're never going to be successful at anything. And the last thing I'll say is, if you are not an action taker, you will never ever be a money maker.
I hear that. Love it. Love it. I told you guys. So what advice would you give someone who is thinking like, okay, yeah, this is it. This is my year, like they always do, right? But how do they move from that energy to actually moving forward and choosing that right business?
Yeah, you got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, it's never going to happen. That's it. You got to believe in yourself, and this is why it's very, very easy to win. I'll give you a perfect example why it's very, very easy to win. So we had pretty much a very, very bad snowstorm on Monday, and I went to go get my workout in Tuesday morning. Nothing changed. Up at the same time, I get up at 3:29. And I know the woman who opened this lady who opens up the gym that I work out at. She's going to be there. I know she's going to be there. So I get there, it's just me and her, and we're talking, and she's like, it's funny, like there were like 10 people that say, "Oh, are you going to open up normal time? Are you going to open up normal time?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be there, I'll be there." And this is what everyone does. This is the same thing they do with goals. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get it done. Yeah. No one showed up. No one showed up. I was there the whole time by myself. And the whole time I'm there, I'm just thinking, this is why it's so easy to win. And this is why no one could touch me, because nothing stops me. I had 15 inches of snow. I still made it out. It was 6 degrees out. I still made it out. The problem is people are constantly making excuses, saying they're going to do one thing and they don't back it up. If you have that mentality, don't go into business because you're not going to be successful.
Perfect. Perfect. So I do want to dive deeper into gym guys because the first thing I said was gym. What I should have said was fitness industry, but let's break it down now, the model for people. I work with clients across all industries. And so help my audience understand what makes this franchise unique in the fitness space.
Yeah, it's very simple. Like, no one's ever been able to do what we've done. We've created the category. We're the first to do it. We're the first to professionalize it, and we're the first to franchise it. We are not a gym, as I love to say. We are the rebellion against it. Gyms, like I just said, don't work. 90% of people that have a membership don't go. Treadmills sit in people's houses. They become the most amazing clothing racks. Apps do not work. AI, it's going to help enhance, will never solve the problem. People need that accountability, and that's what it's all about. Think about it. Amazon, DoorDash, Instacart. I'm sure you used one of those services in the last minute, last hour, last week, or someone who has. That is not going anywhere. And that's why we continue to disrupt and win. It's very, very simple. And look, it's like back in the day, doctors are making house calls. Well, they're doing it again. Everything is about convenience, and people are always going to need that human interaction and that accountability, and that's what we provide. And then it's the reason why we continue to rapidly expand and grow. And no brick and mortar, so you have much lower expenses, right? You get the
Mhm.
brick and mortar. First of all, it takes forever to open up. You could be opening our business in 8 to 12 weeks. You open up a brick and mortar location, it could take a year, 2 years. It could take a very, very long time, and then you have massive, massive expenses. And also, you're tied to that one place. We have
Mhm.
that flexibility, and marketing is always everything. And omnipresence is probably one of the most important things. You're driving around in a moving billboard, like that's like you can't get a better deal than that. And that's why we continue to win.
Yeah, I've heard great things about it. I'm over here in the East Coast as well. I'm in Brooklyn, New York. So I got hit and slammed with that snow as well. But I've seen the signs for gym guys. I always get excited. So I'm like, that's in my inventory. I know Josh.
Hmm.
I want to jump into the fit part because that is definitely something that, again, I'm glad that we're able to speak about because you can talk about it from the franchisor side as well. I always talk about it from the franchisee side, letting them know what it is, the things that they should be looking for. But I also caution them that, hey, you have to be the right fit for the brand as well. So when we talk about fit, paint me a picture of what your ideal franchisee would be? Like, who thrives in this model?
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone always asks that question, and we have, people from all different types of backgrounds. The people that are going to thrive in this model are the people that are hungry. It doesn't matter if you're coming from being a principal in a school, working as an IT manager, or being, an account executive somewhere. None of our owners are trainers. They're going to obviously hire trainers. Our owners are people who are passionate about helping people and changing lives. And there's not a better thing in the world when you could make a living and make a difference. And that's what we do in our business. But you got to have passion and you got to have that intensity and you got to be willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
The perfect candidate for our model is someone who's going to get knocked down and every single time get up with a bigger smile on their face. Those are the people that win. And I will tell you, I know within 5 seconds if they're going to win or they're not. I know by their intensity. I see by how they respond on the phone call. I see their urgency. If you're urgent about everything, you're destined for greatness. It's a fact, right? The problem is people, expect things to happen overnight. They don't happen overnight. You got to plant seeds and you got to water them every single day. You got to get proper soil. You got to get proper sunlight. And that's how things grow. And that's what it comes down to. But, I'll tell you, it's funny, back in the day, I had a D1 athlete and I had this IT guy. They both came in at the same time and they both do well. I thought the D1 athlete would absolutely crush the
Mm,
IT guy. Just, sports, just the training. The IT guy absolutely destroys the D1 athlete. Why? He just is unbelievable with action. He does he
mm,
like, most people are like, oh, you know what? Oh, it's a holiday weekend. I'll do it on Monday. No, you do it right now. You got to be able to take action. The people who do that are the people who are going to win. That's the person we're looking for. I don't care what
mm.
background. I don't care if they're a babysitter. Doesn't matter. If they have that intensity and that drive, that's how they're going to win.
And you touch on a couple of great things, right? That's the beauty of the franchise space is that you can come from, any walks of life, depending on the business, of course, but for the most part, that's what's the beauty of it. And also the fact of what I also touch on is the transferable skills, right? So maybe the person I believe you said was the tech person over the D1, maybe it was those strong transferable skills that he had as far as that drive was concerned.
Yep.
You know what? So now on the flip side of that, who shouldn't do this? Because part of my job sometimes I feel like
Yeah.
it's talking people out of the wrong
People,
fit opportunities.
yeah, people who don't have enough money, people
Mm-hmm.
who ask what's the backup plan if this doesn't work. As soon as I hear that question, they're done. They're done.
Mm,
Like, people come in here. I remember I had someone on a team day not too long ago, and they're just like giving an attitude, almost like, yeah, okay, tell me about the brand. I'll see if I like it. And I'm like
mm.
thinking the whole time, like, this person like doesn't understand. Like, I'm not selling a franchise. I'm awarding the franchise.
Thank
And
you.
we told him that we're going to pass on him, and he got so upset and practically begged us. And I said, listen, I got to be honest with you. I didn't appreciate the disrespect, and honestly, you asked this question, and when I heard that, I was like, I'm done. You said, well, what happens if I fail? That's it. As soon as you say that, it's over. Like, you're already thinking that you're having a backup plan. It's not going to work. Those type of people are not going to work. The people who come in that don't have the backup plan, the people who believe in themselves, right? If you're not confident and don't believe in yourself, how are you going to believe in the service? How are you going to sell the service? Like, you got to believe in yourself, right? That's the most important thing. It's that level of confidence. And, truth is, you're going to be uncomfortable in the beginning. Like everyone's always like, man, Josh, you're so good at this. You do public speaking, you do this, and you're just great. And I was never great. I started at zero, just like everyone else. It's about putting in the reps, right?
Mm.
There's a famous quote by Bruce Lee, and I love it. Would you fear the man that does one kick 10,000 times or 100,000 times, whatever the number is? Or would you fear the man that does 100,000 kicks 100,000 times? No, you would fear the person that does one kick 100,000 times because they perfect it. It's about perfection, and you got to perfect your craft, and it takes time.
Yeah. You know what? And thank you so much for going on that point because again, I've warned people. I've seen it myself where someone showed excitement about moving forward and they honed in on a particular brand, but they were not showing the right attitude. And I warned them, that, remember what I said, the fit goes both ways. And franchises are awarded, use the perfect example, the perfect word. They're awarded to you. So again, you're being evaluated just as well as you're evaluating these businesses. There's a reason for that, and that's why the business and the industry is as successful as they are.
100%.
So tell us more about what support looks like in this business, because I do tell my clients all the time that, you touched also on money and fees. The franchise fee, that's just a small part of it, right?
Yep.
The real value is in the system and the support. So tell us a little bit more about what the support would look like here.
I will tell you, we probably do a little bit too much support. Like we help with hiring, we vet, we screen, we pass the rock stars off to the franchisees. So we take care of that. That's number one. Number two is, we're constantly helping them get better. We got tools in place to understand cash management, P&Ls, balance sheets. We have support calls, and there are a lot of them. When in the beginning, especially when you launch your business, you are in that support almost every day, and then it starts to scale back as you continue to, knock off your checklist and continue to keep, following the process of things that have to be done. But you're in business for yourself, not by yourself, and that's why you go into franchising, right? And that's what's very
Right.
powerful about it. So, just the marketing alone and the hiring is so much, and we help with all that, and that's what gets your business, up and running and at a rapid pace.
Nice. What markets are you guys focused on now? Are there any particular markets?
Oh my God, we still got 500 territories available. So we are open in so many places. I'd say the only area that's a little full is New Jersey, but there's still
Hmm.
territory available there as well.
Nice, nice. So looking at 2026 and beyond, what excites you most about the future of franchising and the fitness space specifically?
I'm just very excited. I've been doing this 18 years since I started in my parents' dining room, and we started franchising in 2014. So
Wow.
franchising 12 years, going into our 12th year now, and I will tell you, this year is going to be our year. I'm very excited about that. Just the amount of, you know, requests we've gotten for territories in the last 4 weeks is probably more than some brands get in 5 years. Like we're almost at 1,000, and it's been only a month. Like it's really crazy the amount of territory checks we've been getting and interest, and it just goes to show you that most people quit right before the miracle happens. So you got to
Mm,
doggy paddle just a little bit longer. You got to hang tight just a little bit longer because you never know. Next day could be the day that changes everything. And I'm very pumped because we've been working very, very hard for so many years. And now we're finally come to the time. Like, from the outside, people look in and be like, man, these guys are killing it. They're in 7 countries. And yeah, it's exciting, but I don't look at it like that, right? I look at it as a much larger scale. And just the momentum we're heading into this year for 2026 is absolutely incredible, and I'm beyond excited about this year and the type of excitement of what's going to come with what we're going to do, because we're going to open up a lot of new franchises and continue to get our franchisees making money and changing lives.
awesome, awesome. And this is why I like to highlight the different types of businesses such as this within the franchise industry. I like to highlight these things because a lot of times, again, people would think of brick and mortar or food. And here's how you can tap into a passion such as fitness and get into an incredible brand where it's mobile, and people are doing well in this business.
Yep.
So as we wrap up, what's one piece of advice that you'd give someone who's serious about making this year the year that they become franchise owner?
Yep. I'd say put on a watch, cut out a little circle, cover the face of your watch, and write NOW, because the time
Mm,
is always now.
mm.
That's it.
Josh, well, again, thank you so much. I mean, I think this was the perfect way to kick off the new year, if you ask me. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
Josh, for agreeing to be a guest on Franchise Vibes. So, for those who are listening who may be interested in this business or any of the other franchises that you may have heard of on this channel, make sure you reach out to precisionfranchise.com. I'm a big fan of this, and I'll be able to connect you with Josh so long as you are that right fit. You can also pick up my book, Your Franchise Roadmap, and it's available on ebook as well as paperback. We've got more great conversations coming for you this year on Franchise Vibes. Subscribe so that you don't miss it. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Josh, for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.